But on to comic books. Now that we have gone through Star Wars and Star Wars comics and back to the TV show, because it all connects. The
It's all
very the
connected.
very reason you're here, my good friend, Danger Squad, a comic that you are about to release soon. Tell me
Yes.
about it.
So, the long story boring of this was a little bit before the pandemic. Um, I'd say maybe like 2 years before the pandemic. Uh, I I was essentially doing stand up full time, and every like Thursday through Sunday I was out of town, but
Mm-hmm.
Monday through Wednesday I was in town, and I did all the dad things I would do with my two kids, and one of those included reading them bedtime stories. And then it got to a point where they've already heard those stories over and over and over again, and I tried introducing them to stuff like Harry Potter, just didn't take. They kind of liked a little bit of Last Kids on Earth. They were much more into stuff like uh, Gravity Falls and Goonies. They just got into Stranger Things, so I know the wheelhouse of Scooby Doo, especially Scooby Doo Mystery
Ah,
Incorporated that we talked.
yes. Yes.
They were very much into that vein of storytelling and story structure. So they told me, "Well, Dad, you write for a living. Just make up a story. Tell us a story you made up." And I was like, "Holy crap!" So I started to make up a story that I thought they would want to hear based on the stuff that I knew, and I undercut any kind of like tension with like comedy to make sure they didn't get too scared and enjoyed the story as is. And I made up the story and they dug it. And then the next night, I was like, "What story do you guys want to hear now?" They want to hear that story again. And I told that same story for like a week. I got really good at telling the story. I figured out like the rhythm and the cadence and the timing. I was really good at telling that story. And then they're like, "Dad, we want a new story." I was like, "Son of a, I got to make a whole the story now." They're like, "No, no, you don't understand. We want the same characters. We just want the next adventure." I was like,
Mm.
"Oh." So I started coming up with different adventures. And then sometimes I would try to think of an adventure. They would tell me, "Dad, you can't tell that because that already happened in this adventure." It's like, holy crap, now I'm taking notes because I got to write canon because they're holding me accountable to the stories they told. Then they start having they've always had sleepovers, but then when there's time to put them and their friends to bed, they're like, "Wait, before you put us to bed, can you tell us a story you've told them because they keep telling us about the story you tell them during bedtime?" So then I'm telling you, so I'm like, there's got to be something here. So I started like putting notes together and trying to come up with some sort of story structure. And I met an executive producer that won an Emmy for children's programming, and I pitched her the idea, and she thought it was awesome. And we started putting it together, and we went through the whole process of putting this series together. And now for us to kind of like uh, before we can get to the next part, we decided let's do a graphic novel first. So I handpicked a bunch of episodes from our season one uh, initial breakdown, and I converted those into chapters in a graphic novel. And to kind of uh, get people on board and stuff, what we're going to be doing is and by the way, the book is called Danger Squad.
Yes.
uh, and danger is an anagram. It stands for dark anomalies, nightmarish ghouls, exciting rescues. And
Ooh.
thank you. And so we created this whole sort
I
of
thought it was
lore.
just Danger Squad. So the danger stands for.
It stands for dark anomalies,
Uh huh.
nightmarish ghouls, exciting rescues.
Ah, I was like, why is it hyphenated? It's got to be a reason. Now you
That's
told
why
me.
those dots are there for a reason. It's not just to look cool. Those
Uh,
dots are there for a reason.
you know
And
what?
which, by the way,
It goes
I
back.
keep
It goes back to DCLM. You always have a way
that's
with
right. Yeah.
anagrams.
Yeah, and I, it's funny where I haven't even released what that anagram stands for yet. You're the first place, so
Nice.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
Uh,
you.
yeah, yeah. But if you go to dangersquad.com, I will promise you our second blog post will be addressing what the anagram stands for. So, I will even reference this episode to let them know why I'm talking about it. So there you go.
Oh, that is
Um,
what a great honor. I'll make
Thank
sure.
you.
I'll make sure I release this episode at ASAP.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Thanks. To help get the word out for the series, what we're doing is we are releasing chapter one through Webtoons and Tapas, and there's another site. If you go to dangersquad.com or follow us on all the social medias, we'll have the updates on like where it's going to be released. But we're taking chapter one and we're breaking it down into a 6-part release. So as a webtoons, apparently when you release a series on webtoons, they'll call it a season. So it'll be a 6-episode season, which will be all of chapter one, broken down into these like 5 to 8 page increments, and you'll get it for starting October 24th. We start releasing it, and you'll have all that there, and it'll be available not only through webtoons but also through our Instagram and through our YouTube. And our YouTube will be converted into videos with a little bit of background music, so it'll be a fun little video you
Mm.
can watch and read along with, all that being part of the what we're going to be doing, and it'll probably carry over until right after Thanksgiving. So and then after that, hopefully the response will get a lot of followers and a lot of people be interested in it. After that, will then also be creating some merchandise. We'll be probably doing like T-shirts primarily, and maybe like a poster. And we're talking to a couple of people right now about what our options are with the book. And worst case scenario, probably like around if nothing comes out from these talks we're having, I say maybe around like a January or February, we'll do a Kickstarter to get chapter one out as a, because we originally was pitched as a graphic novel, but doing chapter one as a single issue.
Mm-hmm.
If we hit our goal, not only will you get chapter one as a single issue, but one of the things we're going to be doing with the Kickstarter is we're going to include an additional, we're still playing around with the numbers, but an additional 2 to 4 pages that will only be available through the Kickstarter of chapter one.
Mm.
So if you once a book gets picked up and it gets published, you won't get those Kickstarter pages. It's only going to be available if we hit the goals in the Kickstarter, and I think it's a pretty fairly modest goal. We're going to have $3,000 for chapter one to get produced as its own individual single issue,
Mm-hmm.
but and I'm announcing this exclusively with you now. If we get the 5,000, the stretch goal would be not only do you get the additional pages, you also get a special variant cover, and there's a special artist that will be announcing, should the Kickstarter get to that point, that will be doing a variant cover for Danger Squad as well. And he's a pretty big artist. He's been involved in a bunch of very cool stuff. He's worked for Marvel and Skybound and
Oh,
Mondo, and yeah, so it's a pretty fun get. So we'll be making those announcements a little bit closer to the Kickstarter as well, and it'll be a fun thing to do.
awesome.
So
So,
if you guys, so if you like Goonies, if you like Stranger Things, if you like Gravity Falls, uh, check out Danger Squad. The way I put it is, if you're trying to figure out the tone, it's what if the Goonies were in the Stranger Things world? That's
right?
Danger Squad.
My thoughts when I first saw it, I'm like, it kind of reminds me of Scooby Doo meets Generation X or the X Men.
You think the X-Men really? Okay, cool, cool.
Like kind of like a group of like, because some of them looks like they have powers. Some of the characters I
Um,
saw.
they might, they maybe.
Is a
You'll have
if
to. I'll put it this way. If any of these kids have anything extraordinary, um,
probably be
when you
something
get to
like
the
magic, right?
if you get to the when we get to the graphic novel, I'd say keep an eye out for chapter two and three. You'll definitely
Ah,
have an answer by then. You won't have an answer by chapter one, but who knows? Maybe somebody
because the questions lie in the little concept arts I saw. Like one girl with a little fizzle smoke coming out from her hand, and it's
Yeah,
like
I mean,
powers
listen, could that
maybe.
be powers? Could that be just her natural badassery coming off as an aura? Who knows? There's so many questions involved in this. And if you like the designs and you find the story interesting, and you're like, oh, I'd like to do something like this. And I will say, the book is made for middle school kids. Like if you have an 8 to 13-year-old kid, there that book is made for them. But a lot of the jokes and the references are made for adults in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. If
So it's like a
you,
Despicable Me sort of thing. Like everyone,
yeah,
all the kids
yeah,
are there for the me, for the what they call them
the
things.
minions,
Yeah, mini
and
things.
like sort of like the adultness, or like the adults in
Yeah,
the room kind of situation. That's where the adults would get their jokes, and it's the kind of thing where, like,
fun
as a
for the
comedian,
family. Yeah.
for the family, yeah, is it family friendly? Yeah, I primarily try to keep it family friendly, but there are jokes and things in there where uh it's very much like, if you're older, you'll get more of it. And
Hmm.
there's layers to this. And I try to have fun with it because, you know, I like to take the idea of a monster that or a legend that or a trope that and kind of spinning on its head and making a different version of a thing that you think you already know, and having fun with that. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I see good things with this. You can go anywhere with it. Something.
that's
Yeah,
really it.
yeah. You can definitely go anywhere with it. You can go supernatural route. You can go with Scooby Doo. Someone's dressed as a monster route. You can go anywhere with it.
Well, I will make you a promise. Uh, they are real monsters. There are real aliens. There are real ghosts. Because, like I said, it's those things in this world is real. But there's also human threats as well.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so I want to make sure that humans are just as scary as the aliens and the cryptids that you read in the book.
Like in
So
like in the like the Witcher says, some of the biggest monsters you have to face is humans.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
so humans are not the frail victims. Some humans are very much in it to win it, but are there monsters and creatures as well? Absolutely. And I if you are I'm in my 40s, and so I grew up watching the OG Elm Street and Halloween
mm-hmm.
and Friday the 13th. And I also grew up reading comics like the X-Men and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. And I played video games like Silent Hill and Resident Evil. And I've seen these things evolve and become different things and spin-off things. But all those movies enhanced my nerddom, helped me become the kind of person that I am. And so this book is essentially a love letter to the stuff that I grew up as a kid, and a cool adventure, new adventure that new kids can experience and go, oh wow, that's cool, and they'll take it as like face value. But if you are older and you're reading it either with them or for yourself, you're gonna get a lot of those homages and a lot of the fun out of it. And as I feel like every good series, you start off fun, and then slowly, as the series goes on, it starts upping the ante. It gets a little bit more serious, a little bit scarier, but the comedy should always be there, but it's going to change as the story evolves too. And we got some big plans. And hopefully, you got all the spooky kids out there want to go along with the ride, and all the idea people are going to want to check it out and see how we make old new again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And what better time to release such a thing than in October? I think that is brilliant. I think that is
Thanks.
brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Just in time.
I
Not right at the end of the month, but like right in the middle. Right in the middle.
Right.
Just,
I
just snap.
figure, the week before Halloween, we start, putting the beginnings of it. It'll come out the 24th, which is the Tuesday on the week before Halloween. And then it comes out the 31st on Halloween itself. And then it comes out November 7th, which is the Tuesday after that, then November 14th, and then finally November 28th. So it's going to carry you all the way through Thanksgiving. And after that, you'll have chapter one in chunks. And if you guys want more, let us know. I'm also we're going to be creating a page on the website where if you guys get inspired and want to make drawings of monsters you'd like to see in the book or in that world, we'll have a fan art page where you can dump it in. We might do some competitions and stuff, and that getting your monsters in future issues or future books. So I'd love to kind of see the fans kind of go out to that, because part of the fun, and it's just like how we were talking about how we RPG'd Star Wars and all that kind of stuff. Part of the fun is creating your own thing in that world, and whether it makes it into the book or just something where you can kind of share with other people who like monsters and cartoons and that kind of stuff, then let's do that.
Yeah, exactly. And, like you and I experienced that. How like, oh wow, the thing I created that no one knows about is for everyone to see. But in the opposite, it's like, hey, I shared this and they liked it and put it there for me to share. And like, hey, I did that, and I like that interactive approach. You don't get that a lot these days. Like, it has to be like a huge group of people to get that going. Uh,
Yeah.
but now it's just like right now is the best time to be a part of it, where to help this grow, and like put in the seeds to be like the like, hey, season one, series one, I was a part of that. I helped that because I put this there. I was like, I love that. I absolutely love that.
See,
It's
there. I'm glad you dig it, man. So it that is what uh, we're shooting for. That is the thing that we'd like to uh, uh, get into. I have an incredible artist that his artist name is Sabe. His name is Giuseppe. He's from Italy, and he incorporates like cartoonish kid style with like European uh, comic book layouts, and it's just he's fantastic. I'm incredibly lucky to be working with a guy like that. And if and the thing that blows me away the most is that his art just gets better as the book continues. So if you like what he did in chapter one, I can't wait for you guys to see what he does in chapter two and chapter three, because he just keeps getting better with each chapter. It's fantastic.
awesome, awesome. Um, right now, I think is a good time for us to put a pin on this,
Sure.
and I think we talked a good amount. We caught up,
Yes.
and I personally had a lot of fun talking with you and getting to
Good,
know
man.
this new project, Danger Squad. Um, you go ahead and plug away all the things that is
Oh,
involved with you, your comedy,
cool.
your everything, please.
Yeah. So once again, dangersquad.com spells like it sounds. No dots in between the letters, just all danger and squad all together. For you can connect to all social medias. We're on TikTok, we're on Twitter X, we're on Instagram, we're on Threads. So check us out on all those things. We're on YouTube. Please follow all those things. If you're on Facebook, we even have a Danger Squad group right now. I was very fortunate that we've only been up for about a week, and we already have over 100 followers already. So I'm very excited about that. And as we're going to go on, we're going to get more people involved in it. So that's fantastic. October 24th, we start releasing chapter one, episode one, through Webtoons and Tapas and a couple others. So if you go to the website, you'll have all the information there. If you want to check out my stuff, you can go to ericdasilva.com, EricDasilva. And over there, you can see some clips of mine. You could buy my album, Adorably Offensive. Currently working on a new hour, which is why I'm going back on the road right now. So if you see me on the road, you will not hear that set on stage. It's a completely different hour of material, which is kind of exciting. And also I have a podcast called Nerd Splaining, which you can go onto YouTube. It's on the Latin Nerd Network, and me and my co-host Jose Romero, we decide for the week's assortment of nerd offerings, whether it's TV shows, movies, special events. We cover all of it. We cover all the news coming from the side of the entertainment world involving comic books. Granted, things have been a little sparse lately because of the strikes, but the writers are back in it, so there's a lot more stuff to talk about. We're waiting for the actors. I hope they get close to what they're asking for, because that's in that we can get back to seeing these things being produced again. So definitely
Mm-hmm.
check that out. And for everyone, including yourself, man, for been like following me, keeping up with me, thank you so much. Hopefully, the more stuff I put out, the more you got to be interested in, and I hope you guys enjoy everything that we're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you once again for hopping on to my little old studio, uh,
Absolutely.
and and I hope to have you back soon or whenever.
Yeah,
I'll definitely keep in touch, and for those who are very much interested in your projects, I will continue to share and post those things on the core
thank you so
cast
much.
on the
Yeah.
Corecast over on Facebook, which is something I use as a thing to keep posting things every now and then, and on Patreon. That's all for today, and I hope you all had a great time reminiscing with old nerds like us. And until next time, folks, have a great, awesome year.